Thank you all for joining us for our SICSS-Howard Mathematica Roundtable with Mathematica. Our panelists today are Bohl, Sheldon Bond, and Deliya Wesley. Our moderator today is Ife Olaore. It is my pleasure to introduce Ife, who will introduce our program. Ife is passionate about the human experience at work and the development of dignified and equitable recruitment processes. He is the Associate Director of Talent Acquisition, overseeing recruitment for the health and administrative divisions. He believes that candidate experiences are more important than any other recruitment performance metric. He has deployed recruitment strategies for tech startups, academic systems, and some of the nation's largest health systems. Ife has recruited for almost every position imaginable in healthcare and has led project teams that delivered exceptional results on a consistent basis. When he's not recruiting, he loves spending time with his best friend and their 2 children. Also, it's Lakers over everything. I have to disagree, but here's Ife.
All right, awesome. Really excited to be connecting here with you all and with the team from Mathematica. Can I get a thumbs up if my audio is okay? There we go. Awesome. Love to see it. Love to see it. So quick background on me, because I've been asked to give a quick background on me. I am the Associate Director of Talent Acquisition here at Mathematica. I lead our health and admin recruiting teams. I've been in talent acquisition for going on 14 years, mainly in healthcare and health tech startups. And I've been at Mathematica for approaching a year. I think that sounds better than saying only 9 months. But really excited to be here with the team. On behalf of Mathematica, I wanted to just thank all of you for being a part of this 2023 SICSS-Howard Mathematica program. And it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome the panel and the group of individuals joining us, distinguished individuals that are joining us here today. I'm going to let them do a brief introduction of themselves, but just to start, let me give you a quick background on Mathematica. Pardon me, not a quick background on Mathematica. What I wanted to share is that I've been engaged in, a lot of our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, working with our DEI team to support the diversification of our workforce. We're trying to be very intentional about that. Also, the types of equity research that we do and how we do our work equitably in partnership with others. I'm committed to work that intersects with social science, economics, and equity, and so excited to be here with this group because all of you here are leaders. Whether or not you end up at Mathematica, you are leaders in your research areas, in your research fields, and that excites me. For the last 50 years, Mathematica, as I'm sure some of you have done your research, Mathematica has been, a trusted partner for government, philanthropy, and private sector change makers, and we're working to improve the public well-being through data and evidence. We're passionate advocates for evidence, committed to improving people's lives using the best available tools to reimagine the way that the world gathers and uses data. Our work is broken into 3 areas. As I shared, I lead the health recruiting efforts. We also have human services and our international research, but we are finding more and more opportunities to increase the value that we can provide to our varied clients and operating at the intersection of those 3 units rather than just staying siloed with them individually. For those of you who did not know, we are 100% employee owned. That means every one of us here on this call are shareholders. And what that means is that we take on the work that we are passionate about and that aligns with our mission and values. So we have our participants, employees, shareholders, and co-owners here with us. We have Dr. Alex Bohl, we have Sheldon Bond, and we have Dr. Deliya Wesley here to share their perspectives and on their journey to Mathematica and really the work that they're doing right now. And so we're going to break out into smaller rooms here in just a second, but I just wanted to give our team here a chance to quickly introduce themselves and give about a 15-second blurb about who they are and what they do. So as always, I will start with the esteemed Dr. Wesley. If you would, turn on your mic and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're excited about working on.
I don't know about the esteemed, but thanks for the introduction. So I'm the Senior Director of Health Equity within our health unit at Mathematica. And in my role, I'm charged with developing or really defining a vision for our health equity work and our portfolio within the business unit. So developing and implementing a strategy for that. So I wear a couple of different hats, directing projects, building strategy, working across teams within our unit. To say what excites me most, I think what excites me most is just the sheer range of work that we get to do for the broad range of clients across different sectors. We work for the federal government, we work for the state governments, and philanthropy, and even industry clients. So it's just a really exciting opportunity to do health across sectors and do impactful work with really great people. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sure you all will learn a little bit more in the breakout rooms from Dr. Wesley. Moving on, we have Sheldon Bond here joining us. Really excited to have Sheldon in this session. Sheldon, could you just give a quick intro to who you are and what you do and what excites you about your work at Mathematica?
Thank you, Ife, and thank you for having me. Welcome, everybody. My name is Sheldon Bond. I am the Deputy Area Director for Labor Research in our Human Services Division. I also serve as a project director and program lead in our data analytics function. In those two roles, I direct projects related to case management and performance reporting for various projects across our labor and education space. I also help us develop strategy and develop our client relationships on labor projects, as well as strategy for proposals. And so very involved in our business development efforts, as well as on the ground directing and leading a couple of our projects that specifically use a lot of programming and computer science and focus on case management development. And so the exciting part, I think, about Mathematica, and I think this will be my 13th year going on in September, is that every year has been different. Every year has been new challenges and different experiences and different relationships with clients, different projects. And so there's a variety that keeps things interesting. And I put that in air quotes. And so it's good when you're not bored. And I always tell people better to be busy than bored. And Mathematica has always kept me more busy than bored.
Awesome. And so moving on, we have another one of our colleagues here, Dr. Bohl. Alex, as I have the honor of calling you, would you please kind of share a little bit about your background and what you're working on or excited about here at Mathematica?
Sure. I've been here for 12 years. About 5 to 7 years ago, Mathematica's health unit started a data science group. And I was there at the beginnings of that, and then saw the growth of that team. I now have shifted my focus more to data. So I'm the Director of Data Innovation in the health unit. What that means is that I help Deliya and others working on proposals, identify data sources that they might need on studies or projects. So for example, going to find electronic medical records data, claims data, administrative data, survey data that they might need to do analyses. So what excites me a lot, like what Sheldon said, is just the variety, right? I mean, every year is new. You don't know what's going to come next year, but it's new, it's busy. And I think that I tend to be right now, I'm the short-term center of gravity around topics like AI. And so I get to learn a lot through our colleagues who are more knowledgeable on specific uses. And so it's exciting to learn through our colleagues. So nice to meet everyone. Looking forward to chatting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, at this time, we are going to transition to our breakout sessions. you all that have joined us will have an opportunity to connect individually with our group here. And like I said, you'll have about 20 minutes with each panelist to ask them more questions about their backgrounds, their careers, their journey to Mathematica and sort of what keeps them engaged here within the organization. I'll be popping in and out the breakout rooms if there are potentially any other questions related to my area of expertise, which is talent acquisition. And so, one of the things I want you all to remember is that, at the core and at our core, we are a research organization. And so we hope to learn from you as it relates to the kind of organizations that attract you, that appeal to you, and how organizations like Mathematica can shape, the evidence, how organizations like ours can be shaping the evidence base around critical social issues. So we're going to have about a 20-minute session at the end, 15 to 20 minutes at the end of today's roundtable, where we can come back together as a group for a little bit more of an open Q&A type session. But at this time, I will turn it back over to Nanette Coleman, who will be able to break us into the different groups.
Thank you, everybody. That was fantastic as always, and I encourage you all to go back and revisit their incredible videos on our website. This is an esteemed group, to quote our moderator. So I just dropped our list of rooms in the chat box. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the speakers so all of our students can stay in one place. So once you join your room, it's either Mathematica Room 1, Mathematica Room 2, or Mathematica Room 3. We'll give you a quick heads up before suddenly we suck your speaker out the room and throw them into another room. So we'll give you probably about a minute's notice before we do that, so you can start to wrap things up. But our first group, Mathematica 1, Alex, you're going to Mathematica 1. Ayana, Dereje, Gia, Joyana, Mango, Rashid are in that room. Mathematica 2 is Sheldon, Beth, Jacqueline, JJ, the second Gia, Kevin I, Mateo, Rebecca. Group 3 is Deliya, Brittany, James, Hoel, Kevin S, Nina, and Rohitha. Okay, so the rooms are now open. Please go ahead and open the rooms for us, Arvin. And we'll get to it. We'll adjust based on our start time, which is 20 after the hour. Please enjoy your first 20 minutes. Ask a lot of questions. Have fun, people.
Awesome. So welcome everyone back to this session. I'm hoping that value was received during the time spent with our teams. I really do, again, appreciate and Alex, Sheldon, and Deliya for joining us. Now, we do have only 7 minutes remaining in the session for sort of the open, more roundtable style discussion. And so I'm going to do a quick pivot. I would yell louder because my wife is a huge Friends fan, but we're going to pivot and go to, I see a hand coming from the audience already. I believe the first hand that popped up came from Nina Albarus. Please unmute and go ahead and ask a question to the group.
Thank you very much, Nina Alvarez. So my question is for the parents of the panel. How do you balance being a parent, showing up? If you also have a partner, how do you balance all of that with your job? And also, if solitude is important to you or travel, how do you bring all those things into focus?
I saw Alex unmute. Did you want to go first?
Sure, I'll unmute. My wife also works in Mathematica, so we actually have thankfully Mathematica offers a lot of flexibility, so we could figure some things out. It's difficult to balance even with that, and so I think that what I find is the morning time is always better. It's always better to kind of like, as I've become now, I have a 7-year-old that try and go to bed early, get up early, as opposed to think, oh, I'll sign back on after dinner, where my daughter goes to bed or whatever. that doesn't work. So, but it's still a challenge. You know, I see a therapist because of it. So yeah, I don't have a secret silver bullet for that.
I'll share. I have a wife that doesn't work in Mathematica. She works in charter schools in Trenton, and two boys, a 8 and 11-year-old. I don't know what balance is. I don't think I've achieved it. I doubt that I will achieve it. I just adjust to all of the day-to-day challenges, and I have found that I work from home. That has been a challenge. I started working from home during the pandemic, and I maintained working from home because I saw the value in all the little moments that I get to spend taking my kids to school, taking them from school. That extra time used to be when I was working and going to the office full time, the biggest challenge, like finding the time to actually spend with my kids. And now, because I work from home, I've gotten the flexibility to really invest in that and spend time with them. And I don't feel like, even if I don't feel like the days are balanced overall, I don't feel like I'm missing out on a lot of time.
I guess that is mine to answer. And so I think, similar to Alex and Sheldon, I don't know that I've found balance. And certainly, as a mom, there's been stages in my career where my career was the focus and maybe less so about the kids. And I've really struggled to shift that so that there's a little closer to, but I call it a blend and not a balance. And so on any given week or month, I might be doing a little more woodwork and pulling back a little bit more. I have a very supportive spouse who works a little more flexible schedule, which allows for us to sort of, balance the who's picking up and who's dropping off. But I think it's really about intentionally prioritizing and, being very explicit about blocking off. I have a calendar block after 4:30 because it's school pickup, right? And that I don't move that. I wake up a couple of hours earlier so that I can get a couple of focused hours before the kids wake up. So I think it's about knowing that you're going to have to make some accommodations, but also, to Sheldon's point, it really helps working for an employer who's flexible, that knows that, on some days I'm going to have to miss my afternoon meetings because I got to get my kids to appointments. And that's, we have flexibility for that and openness for working flexible hours, shifting your days around. But then also, like Sheldon, working at home means that, I can run to school drop off, but then hop right on a meeting and didn't have to actually really get dressed, and nobody knows. So the flexibility of that is really what makes it work. But being intentional about making sure that you put your efforts where so that your family's not missing out.
Thank you all. I was also curious to hear from Ife.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
I will, and yeah, I'm happy to respond really quickly, in the sense that I am a father of two, and I do also have an awesome partner who is working. And I think, just to echo what was said, we've talked about, what is balance, and I do also look at it as integration, right? Where I'm currently sitting, I'm not sitting in front of a giant SICSS banner in an office somewhere. I am in my basement that happens to be right under my kid's bedroom. And so I get to hear them yelling for me at bedtime because they use everything that they can to negotiate not going to bed. And I think having the opportunity to work from home and be able to, dart away from my chair for an hour to help with bedtime, come back in, continue working, but then also calling it, quits at, 5 o'clock on Fridays and enjoy my weekend. It's something that it's absolutely critical for me. And so Mathematica is one of the few organizations that I've worked for where I have been able to protect the boundaries of my personal time. And when I say that I'm off, for the most part, it's respected. And so, that for me is figuring out, how do you integrate your work into your life? And, my kids are on meetings. I'm pretty sure Deliya has seen my kids 2 or 3 times where they come in and they sit on my lap during meetings, and it's, I would say, not just welcomed, but it is celebrated, having that. So yeah. I know that we are over, and I know that Sheldon, Alex, and Deliya have a lot on their plate, but I am going to open it up. Is it Carrie Beth? Please, we'll have one more question from you, and then we'll wrap up. I think all of you had an opportunity to connect with us. I believe there's links to our contacts. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have questions about the future of your work. You are more than welcome to direct them to me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I believe there's a link provided. And if you have questions, please reach out to us, and we'll be happy to follow up. But please, Carrie, what's the last question?
I'm curious if qualitative data has a role at Mathematica.
I'm going to have Deliya, I'm going to have you answer that to start, just because we're working on a project right now where I'm having conversations with both qualitative and quant researchers. And so, Deliya, could you start? And then anyone who wants to follow up on the same, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's a wholehearted yes. It has a role. I think it's I can't think of a project that we're working on that, at least in my unit, that is not taking a mixed methods approach. So of course we have but qualitative data is data, right? And we are our core business is focused on data, and that includes qualitative data. That's sort of the short version of the answer. But it is here, it's celebrated, it's appreciated, and it's very necessary for some of the solutions that we that we're generating for our clients. So Sheldon, I'm sure you can speak to that.
Yep. We've got projects, and many of the work we propose, we have sort of developed and built out a certain expertise in content analysis and qualitative data analysis in our data analytics function. And we have a couple of projects that are sort of utilizing that to great effect. One example, we use some qualitative and predictive analysis in some of the work we've done to build out research clearinghouses for the Department of Labor. And so that's sort of a unique application, and maybe not the sort of standard thing when people think about qualitative analysis. That kind of analysis using coding and sort of the same techniques, but applying it to website management is one of the more unique applications, I think, for qualitative researchers to sort of speak to and sort of work outside of the standard research and evaluation space and apply those same skills in a data analytics space.
Thank you so much for that question.
Yeah, and I want to highlight, I'm sorry, Alex's comment is really well placed. The human-centered design process of not just focused on the actual research process design, but also on sort of developing tools and websites and things like that, very qualitative.
Well, I wanted to thank Sheldon. Thank you so much for following up on that. Alex, Deliya, thank you so much for your participation. To all of you participants, phenomenal questions. I got to get involved with a few of the breakout rooms and sort of hearing the quality of the questions that were being asked, the responses. I do have to give a big clap and congratulations to Nanette for putting together this phenomenal group. This has been very enjoyable, very rewarding, and informative, and looking forward to participating in the next year. Please feel free to reach out to our team here at Mathematica. Like I said, you're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn to follow up with conversations about the future and wanting to reconnect with other leaders within the organization. But at this point in time, I will turn it back over to the SICSS team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for watching. For more information on SICSS-Howard Mathematica, visit our website, follow us on social media, and join our email list.